Sandy here. Welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to have you joining me today, and welcome to the 13 Frights Before Halloween 2022. This is a YouTube crafting channel collaboration with other people who love Halloween and make Halloween crafts. We've joined together to share with you some wonderful ideas that you can make in the next 13 weeks leading up to Halloween, so that you can have a bunch of fun little items to decorate with, to give as gifts, and just have a great time creating and using your stash if you have a lot of Halloween papers and crafting supplies, or if you love to go out and buy some new stuff, because I'm going to be buying some new stuff too. This is the first week of the 13 Frights Before Halloween, and I want to thank all the wonderful YouTube crafters who have joined in on this collaboration. I have linked their channel names below and the direct links to their YouTube channel, so please go check out their projects too. They'll be popping up on their channels at different times throughout the day. Check those out, subscribe to their channel, and then also there'll be people joining in. If you make a craft for Halloween and you want to share, use the hashtag that I'll put in the description below, hashtag Sandy's 13, that's the number 13, Sandy's 13 Frights Before Halloween 2022. So you can see, you can share what you make, and everyone else can see what everyone's been making. So this is what I made for week one. It is a really cute little Halloween paper bag mini album with a chipboard cover and ribbon tie closure. So it's good. It's really cute. It's really easy to make. I'll give you the list of the supplies in just a bit, and then we'll get started on the tutorials, and then I'll show you the whole thing at the end. So stay tuned. To create the first week's project for week number one of the 13 Frights Before Halloween 2022, I pulled out some old stuff from last year and prior years. So what I have here, you're going to want some printed paper, and I have this assortment of Heidi swap papers that I'm pretty sure I bought last year, and I didn't use them. I may have used one or two sheets, but I didn't use them all. I think that's where these tags came from, and maybe some of this. I'm not positive. I do have these little stickers that came from Heidi Swap, and then I have all these little tags and things from several years back. So just go through your stash, see what you've got. Some spiders, some buttons, some ribbon. I've got some, I think this is Tim Holtz gauze. I may not use all of this, but I've got it here handy. Some different ribbons. I don't want the real thick ribbons. I want thinner ribbons. Now you are going to need a sheet of lightweight chipboard. Now, if you don't have any, look at the backings in some of your paper packs. Sometimes they come with cardboard backing. If it's a pad that you can use, a cereal box, it doesn't have to be heavy. So you're just going to need this for your cover. So you need to have some lightweight chipboard, some paper, and then some bags. Now these are from Michael's. These were in my stash. There's 6 bags here. These are going to make the pages of this little album. So this is a paper bag album. These measure 3.5 by 6 3/4. You can have bags of different size, just the general idea. This is going to make a real small little album. So that's what we're going to do with that. These came from Michael's. I think you can pick them up in a bag, maybe like 16 or 20 in a pack. So you can make several of these little albums if you wanted to. So this is the supplies you're going to need. Of course, you need your adhesive. I'm going to be using art glitter and glue. I have both my silicone tip applicator and a fine tip, because I'll probably need a fine tip for assembling the pages. So anyway, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is work on our cover, and I've taken you don't need a whole lot. You don't need a full 12 by 12 like I had, but you just need 2 pieces of this lightweight chipboard, and I cut 2 down to 3.5 wide by 4 3/4 tall. So you need 2 of those. And then you need 2 pieces of your pattern paper that you've cut down. We're going to wrap these pieces, and you need 2 that are 4 3/4 by 6 1/4. And then for the inside, we're going to cover the inside of them with 2 pieces that are 3 1/4 wide by 4.5 tall. So go ahead and cut those. Now I have my papers cut for my pages, and we'll go over that in a bit. First, we're going to wrap this. So you take the side that you want for your finished side, and you turn that upside down. Okay, and then you take your little chipboard piece, Now, if you want to use your score board to help keep it straight, you can. Just need to get my glue going here. Okay. I'm just using glue on the back. Just put a good amount of glue all the way around the edges. I need to add some glue to my bottle. It's getting kind of low, so it makes it hard to come out. So I'm going to center this, just like this. This is just a typical way of wrapping for an album. You're going to burnish this and flip it over. Burnish really well. And then we're going to take this, we're going to fold up against the chipboard and burnish. Get our crease lines on all four sides. Just like that. Then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut that corner out up to the corner of the chipboard. So I'm cutting along those fold lines, where I folded the cardstock. Just cut right up to the corner of your chipboard so you have all four corners cut out, okay? So it's a real easy way to wrap. You can also do the angle miter cut if you prefer. I do both ways. So I'm going to start with my longest side first, and I'm going to take my glue and put glue on my cardstock, my pattern paper. I'm just going to fold this over and burnish it down. Okay, so with it like this, I'm going to go in and put my scissors at the corner and just slightly angle cut like that. Just to kind of make sure that nothing is sticking out over the corners when I fold this over. Then I'm going to glue these down. Burnish that down. I love the cats here on this pattern paper. I can't remember why I didn't use the paper last year. I might have used a few sheets. I don't know. Anyway, that's what it looks like wrapped. So this would be my front. So I want the cats on the front. Then I'm going to take this little piece of paper. I cut the 3 1/4 wide by 4 1/2 tall, and I'm just going to glue that onto the back side to finish this off. So this is the inside of the cover. This is going to be open back. We're not doing any spine with the chipboard or anything. So go ahead and center that. Burnish it down. So that is one cover done. I'm going to go ahead and do the other one off camera. Do it exactly the same way, except that it's a different pattern paper, and this will be the one I want to see. So this will go upside down. Of course, if you wanted the orange or whatever you're using, your pattern paper is going to be different, of course, because you're using your stash. So that is the front cover. I'll set that aside. I'm going to go ahead and do the other one off camera. So I have both of my front back covers wrapped inside patterned, and so we're just going to set those aside. We don't need those right now. We need to make our pages. And so we have our 6 bags, and I'm going to grab my other glue here bottle because I want a thinner line. Now you're going to turn these bags so that all of these have this little the bottom piece here. You don't want to open up the bags. You want this piece like this facing up. This is what's going to make our pocket when we fold it up. So I'm going to go through and fold each one. The bags are going to vary in size. You're going to find they're not exactly perfect because they're just paper bags, but that's okay. We're going to burnish this on the bottom to get a nice crease and fold. So that's going to make the pocket. So I'm going to do that on all of them real quick. Okay, so once we have them burnished, take your glue, and I'm using my thin line tip, and along the 2 narrow edges here, I'm going to put a thin line of glue as thin as I can, but yet enough to make it stick. Put glue on each edge like that. Fold it up and then burnish these down. Now they are kind of thick, the paper bags, so if you want to put a little clip on it or something, you know, to hold it until it dries, you can do that. So I'm going to put a couple on each side. My little sewing clips that I have. So like that. So you're going to let that dry. So this makes a pocket right here, and then you'll have a pocket up here on your page. So that makes the page that's going to fit in that little cover that we made. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up the camera and do that on all these. Let me grab my clips and we'll get that done. Here is all 6 of the paper bags with the pockets folded up and glued. So we have all the pages made, and now we're ready to add our patterned paper, which I've already pre-cut. So you can take 6 pieces of paper. I actually took 7 because I wanted an extra to mix and match if I wanted to. Excuse me. You need at least 6 that are 3 3/8 wide by 1 7/8 tall. 6 that are 3 3/8 wide by 2 1/2 tall, and then 6 that are 3 3/8 wide by 4 1/2 tall. So what you're going to do, you're going to put one on the pocket, and like I said, I'm going to mix and match mine around, even though I use the same pattern. So like this is your pocket front, and then you would put one in the top there. Going to glue those on, and then you flip it over and you're going to glue a solid piece on the back, and that's your page with the pocket. So that's how we're going to glue all those. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do one with you, and then I will do all the others off camera. And again, you want to cut 6 that are 3 3/8 wide by 1 7/8 tall for your pocket, 6 that are 3 3/8 wide by 2 1/2 tall for the top of your, above your pocket, and for the solid page, the 6 that are 3 3/8 wide by 4 1/2 tall. And so that's what you do. Ink them if you want to, and then go ahead and glue them all down. Now remember, if you're using different size bags, you need to measure. And what I typically do is I measure the size of my bag, the width that I need, and the height of the section, and I subtract 1/8 of an inch off. So where this one was 3 1/2, that's how I got the 3 3/8 to cut for that one. Okay, so let's take one bag. What's I need to do here? Turn this over. I'm going to glue this stripe on the back. And like I said, if you want to ink it, go ahead and do your inking before you glue it down. So I'm just going to go ahead and real quickly add my pattern paper to a page, and so I can show you what it looks like, and you can go ahead, and I will go ahead and do mine off camera. And I'm just going to burn it. So you see, you have on this edge, I have the little jaggedy of the bag, and you burnish it down really well. That's the one side. Then you flip it over. If you have directional, pay attention to your directions. Go ahead and put this. Oh, I like that orange dot behind the cobweb, but I wanted to use the cobweb too, so I'll probably flip them over and use different ones. Okay, so I get this one on the top here, like that. And burnish. It doesn't go down into the pocket, it just sits along the top edge there. Make sure you burnish it on. And then the bottom piece could be like the cats. I like that. That's cute. Okay, so I'm just going to, off camera, go ahead and get all these patterned. You go ahead and get yours all covered, and then we'll be ready to add some decorating and are getting the pages ready for our binding, which will be a 3-hole binding. So go ahead and get all these glued on, and I'll be back in a bit. So next we're going to get our pages, the holes in our pages and in our cover pieces before we do any decorating. So I took another piece. You can use any piece of paper that you might have. I just grabbed one of the scraps from the pattern paper because I have plenty. And cut this down to the same size. So I cut it down to the 3.5 by 4 3/4. And then I drew me a line at 3/8 of an inch. So my holes are going to be 3/8 from the edge. And then I put one right in the center at 2 3/8. And at first I was going to do it a 1 inch in, and then I changed my mind and I made a hole at 3/4 up from the bottom and 3/4 down from the top. Used my crop-a-dowel, lined them up, and punched each hole. So now I have a template for punching my holes, and you are going to need to use your crop-a-dowel. So the cover is, with it being wrapped, is just a smidge on each end, a little bigger. So I'm lining it, centering it, and paying attention to my direction. And I set my depth on my crop-a-dowel, but I'm still going to use my template to make sure. And I'm going to punch each hole in the covers first. Make sure I keep my line up. There. Okay, so there's the cover. So we've got the 3 holes. Now if you want to reinforce this and put eyelets in, you can. I am not on mine. Now for the back, I'm going to put the holes on this side. So if you have directional paper, just pay attention to that. Go ahead and punch the holes for this. Okay, so there's the covers punched and ready. So set those aside, and I'm going to go ahead and punch on the pages. Punch one here. It is going to go through your pocket. Now, if you want to line this up, and use a clip to hold your template, you can do that. So like, I'm just going to center this. And just punch all the way through, and I'll show you just a second here. Okay, so that one's done. And you see you do have one that goes through the pocket, and that is fine. That's what you want. So there's the page with the holes in it. I'm going to go ahead and do all the others off camera, and then we'll be ready to add some decorating. Once you have the holes in all your pages and your album cover, it's easier to go ahead and do what decorating you want to do before you put the album together. So this is something I'm going to do off camera. I'm just going to use different things that I have in my stash, like some pre-made tags I found. I don't know why the holes are so big, but I'm going to put ribbon through that so they will fit in the pockets. So you just go through your stash, find what you have that you like buttons and ribbons. I have an assortment of little punch outs that I think will work cute in there. So I'm going to go ahead and decorate mine and get it all together, and then I'll come back and we'll show you some options for binding it. So I have my cover decorated and all my little pages. I have everything done except for some inserts for in the top here, which I'll probably do later or just leave it for photos. There's basically 2 options. So you have your 3 holes in all your pages and your cover front and back. Now it took me probably about maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to do all my decorating, because I like to dig through all my ephemera, my different decorating things, and excuse me, while I did use all of the same paper basically for my pages and my cover, I did use different papers in here for some of my little booklets and tags. And then I also used a mixture of decorative elements. These little stickers go with this paper, but these little tags and things didn't. So I like to mix and match things up for Halloween. It's okay with that. So basically there's two options for you to choose to do your binding. You can do the rings. Now these I think are a little bit large. I would go with probably the next size down. These are 2-inch, so those are really big, like maybe 1.5 inches. Inch might be too small, I don't know. I am not a fan of metal rings because these things turn around and get hung, and I don't know, I just never have been a real fan of them. So what I'd like to do is, I've already done it on one, is the ribbon tie type closure, and I'm going to do 3 of those. So to do that, you need a really strong little ribbon that's not going to fray out. And this is about 1/4 inch. And then I have this big blunt needle thing with the large eye, and I just put my ribbon through there. And I've already done the top, so I'm going to do the bottom now. And I just run it through and make sure that I am catching every page when I do this and the covers. Otherwise you'll have to untie it and come back. So I'll pull this through, take that off, and just kind of pull it down. And you know, you can tighten a bow or tighten a knot like I did. And I'm just going to try and keep this pretty much squared up and tie this about the same. So it's usually about, this one's about my finger. If I put my finger under there, that's the space, I would guess you would say. So I'm going to go ahead and loosely knot this, and then I'm going to put my finger under there and then pull it down so that that's the gap space that I have. Okay, so there's that. So let me grab me some more ribbon and my little needle. And I'm going to go ahead and speed up the camera and thread this one through. So now we have all those in there, so you see how it just flips like that. Doesn't hang up. I like that so much better. Now, I haven't done this before. I'm just playing with the idea of seeing how it works with some other ribbons tied around this closure ribbon here, or the binding ribbon. So I've got cut off 3 pieces of this sheer orange that I used on my tags. I'm just going to kind of tie a knot there. And again, I like to double knot it because I don't want anything coming loose. Of course, if I don't like it, I will cut it off. So I'm going to tie those, and then I will cut them. I just want to kind of make it, you know, you can do that on the rings. If you use the rings, you can add a lot of different ribbons. So I wanted to add some in on this to see how it looks. And I'm going to put some twine too, just to kind of add more to it. So this is optional. You don't have to if you don't want to. And once I get this all done, then I will go do a walkthrough in here and show you all my decorating. I apologize if my throat sounds a little funny. Got allergies. Got grass fires not close to us. We have wildfires and grass fires in Texas. And we get smoke, and so it kind of makes my allergies and stuff kind of act up a little bit, so changes my voice sometimes. Here we go. Okay, so that's that. Now then we just go in, and I think on these I'll do the dovetails, which means you fold it in half and then you cut at an angle towards the fold, which gives you the little pointy dovetail. piece that I have left into 3 pieces, and I'm just going to loop it underneath and then tie in a knot around those ribbons. Do a double knot. Now I could add some other ribbons if I wanted to dig some out, but these are what I used on the inside, so I think I'm just going to leave it at these. But you add as many or whatever ribbons you like for your little album, just to kind of dress it up. You could add some of that gauze if you wanted to kind of make it spooky if you use that in there. I'll be using that on another project, I'm sure. Now I have some of this stuff here, but I don't know if that would look right tied in there or not. Let me see. So once I've got this tied, I'm going to tie knots in the end of each. So I'm going to speed up the camera. I'm not going to have you sitting here while I tie each of these. Okay, so there it is. I like how that turned out. So let's go over it real quick. What I did, of course, tied the ribbons, and then here on the front, I had the cat paper. I just went through my stash. I found this purple black dot circle and glued that on. And then on foam squares, I added this Happy Halloween and then one of the cat stickers. Then I started adding in these, like first I put this strip of wide spider washi tape down. Then I glued the circle, and then I glued the bow on here, and then 2 buttons. And then I started adding in these little sayings that I had that came with this paper, like October, October is washi tape. This one says October, hello my pretties, spooky, if you've got it, haunt it, which way to candy, and then October. So just kind of a little collage of little sayings on there. I like how that turned out. It's really cute. So when this opens up, then I took another piece. It looks like a mirror with spider webs, but this eek. So these are from different collections. Another little saying, something wicked this way comes. So we have the little pocket. I have a tag that was already made. I added the ribbon, some buttons, another cat sticker. This flips over. I glued down one of these tag here that this pulls in and out. Add the stickers, some of this trim. This little pocket has this little cutout paper, just a little photo mat and a tag. And then I had this pre-cut little fence that I had die cut at some point, and I just glued that on there and made a little scene. Ghostly greetings, the bat and the boo. Love how that turned out. This side I glued a photo mat on. Some of the stickers, and it says trick or treat. Then I glued a tag to the front of this pocket, added some of the elements, some string, and made a little booklet out of, no, that's just a photo mat, sorry. A little photo mat, a bigger photo mat, added some buttons and another one of those little sayings, and that just tucks in right there. And then you flip this over. This one is a booklet. Flips up this way, and use some of that trim. Made a tuck spot out of this tombstone I had from another collection. Added some of the ghost. So it turned out really cute like that. This pocket, I had this clear plastic scary. I added some of that twine, some more of the sayings. Another tag. Tonight we fly. And then this little too cute to spook. And this is a booklet that I made go backwards. Thought that was appropriate for Halloween. And then another one of these tags like this, that this pulls, well, unless it's stuck, there it goes in and out. And then this, I put all this little pieces of candy stickers, and it says, I'm here for the boo, and then here for the candy. And then this little tag here that I made, glued to the front of this booklet like this. So this is a different paper than what actually I used on the pages, a whole different collection. Include all these little elements on there, and that sticks in there. And then this is another from a different collection. This is just a circle that sticks in there, and I glued the string down and attached a spider here. Bugs and hisses to you, come in for a bite. And this was a little window that I had, the little acrylic. It had the white dots on it. I used some foam, narrow foam strips like this. And I made a little mini shaker. And it doesn't shake a lot, but it's got the little Halloween colored bits in there. Like how that turned out. And then this tag, we're a little batty, and I added bad and bougie. I guess that's the bad names. I don't know. Happy Halloween and happy haunting. So that one, and this flips this away. Where I cut off a little bit of that fence, I put it here with a tombstone, the bat, and this just comes out. So it tucks behind those. So if you glue them just on the left and the bottom, you can make that little tuck spot out of those elements. And then in the back cover, I glued one of these. You can do some journaling. There is Magic in the Night and in October all the way across. Now, then like I said, here in your little bags, you have these pockets on the top, which are perfect for lots of extra photos. I'm not going to add anything in there right now. You could do some tags if you wanted to, but that is my little paper bag Halloween album for my first Fright 2022. Of the 13 Frights before Halloween. This is the first week, so check back next week, next Monday, for my second Fright before Halloween. Make sure you in search on YouTube, do the hashtag Sandy's 13, the number 13, Sandy's 13 Frights before Halloween 2022 in the search, and it'll pull up other videos of other people that are participating. If you make a Halloween project and you want to link it to that hashtag, go right ahead and do that. It's a lot of fun. In my description down below is the names and the links to the YouTube channels of all the other YouTube crafters that are doing the 13 weeks before Halloween. Do check out all their channels and their videos and see what they've made. You might find some wonderful ideas. You've got plenty of time for Halloween to get some of this made. And subscribe to their channels and leave them some comment love and some likes, and have a great time. So I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.